very different today. You see, I'm on a lorry today. I'm in the wife's car. Nicked her car for the day, got an MOT on Friday. But today I'm off down to Royal Mail in Bridgend for a driver's assessment there. Since my last video, well, the last one when I was driving, when I got stuck in the cab, I've had hardly any shifts at all. Well, hardly any shifts at all. They haven't offered me a single bloody shift. So the company I was with before, the agency I was with before, I've been chasing them up all the time. For some reason or other, they haven't offered me any other shifts. I mean, I spoke to the company I was driving for, Wilko, that's the company I was doing deliveries for. I've spoken to them. But there's been shifts there. They're sending down loads of new drivers who've signed up to the agency. So there's left shift. They're not offering the older drivers who've been there for ages. They're not offering us shifts. So as much as I've been chasing them up and asking them, there's no bloody shifts available. So I've got to the point now where I'm like, right, I phoned up another agency, because obviously Royal Mail coming up towards Christmas now. Royal Mail are looking for loads more drivers. So I thought, well, why not? Let's get down there and have an assessment. So I'm actually driving down there now. Well, I'm not entirely sure what the assessment consists of, to be honest. It tends to be go over some health and safety stuff, you know. They chat to you like a normal job interview. Then it tends to be a bit of driving, probably an hour, you know. So I'm hoping it's more to do with the driving than the theory, because as much as we know the theory, we've been over it. Some of those questions can be quite tricky, and you can, you know, I'm a bug of a second guessing myself. So I'll have an answer, I'll see it straight away, I'll know the answer, I'll read another answer and I'll go, oh, is it that? And then I start questioning myself and then end up bloody stuck in my own head. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing today. Going down to see how, see if I can get an assessment with Royal Mail. We'll see if I can get in with Royal Mail. Like I say, the agency I was working, I'm signed up with when I was doing all the driving before, for Wilko's. I don't know what's going on with them at the moment. I know they've changed the way the computer systems run down in Wilko, so now it's another company's taking over. Remember I said it's a different transport agency taking over. So whether they've decided to change the way they hire drivers, and whether they've chucked a load of their fellas on to take all the shifts, I don't know. But no, the agency are just being a little bit funny. So I was thinking, oh god, well, I didn't do any damage to the lorry, I didn't make any mistakes, so I was hoping they weren't annoyed at that. But after speaking to Wilko directly, no, they're fine. You know, they don't get to choose which drivers come in, they just call the agency up and say we need 7 drivers for 14 shifts next week or whatever it may be. And the agency just chuck a load of drivers down into the roles. So it's the agencies are the ones who've, you know, who ain't giving me the roles. So Wilko were quite happy with it. I mean, I used to get shops asking for me to deliver into them, like. So yeah, so unfortunately, that seems useless. I mean, that's the thing with an agency, they've been giving me loads of work, I've been saying how great they've been. The bottom line is, if they haven't offered me a shift for, well, 3 weeks really, because last week I went up to Yorkshire to go visit family. Go visit Diana up in Yorkshire, so I wasn't available for last week, and it's the only week they offered me a bloody shift. They only gave me 10 hours bloody notice, like, but they knew I wasn't available, and it's the only time they offered me a shift. So the only shift I turned down was the one when I was in North bloody Yorkshire, you know. Can't pop down from the moors to drive a lorry from Ridley Newport, so yeah, so that's what I've done. I phoned up another agency, I just had a quick look, you know, it's always a good idea to keep an eye on what jobs are knocking around, and yeah, I saw Royal Mail were hiring, and I thought, well, you know, Royal Mail, good solid company, and they need the extra drivers over the winter months, and the money's good as well. You know, it's good wages on there. So yeah, so I phoned them up, and I had to go through an agency. So I've signed up with that agency now, and they've arranged for me to come on down, and they've seemed really on the ball. And with this agency, there's no like umbrella company they're dealing with your wages, so it should be simply a case of my agency are the ones that pay my wage. So there's not that extra middleman in between. I kick myself now, I've got to be there at 9 o'clock for this, so it takes me 15 minutes down the motorway. But as always, the one day when you got a little bit of a time scale, traffic's mad. Absolutely mad. I mean, it always takes me 20 minutes. Down to Bridgend it is. I'm in Rhondda, so I'm going to go down the motorway 2 junctions, but once I get past this little bit of dual carriageway that feeds onto the motorway, I'm good to go. Like, it's down 2 junctions, easy to find. I did a test run yesterday as well. I knew I knew where it was, but still, even if you think you know where it is, it's wise to go on down and suss it out. So at least now I know I can go down, and if I get down there this morning and parking's a bit tricky, I know I've got a plan B for where I can park, and I'll still be within a couple of minutes walking distance, you know, rather than just waiting until the day. You know, you're already thinking, oh, what am I going to have to do anyway? So I'd say before you go down, if you're in a position to do so, if it's close enough, pop on down, have a little test run first, see where you've got to go, see where you can park, and then, like you say, on the day then you're not thinking, oh, where is he? I know exactly where this place is now after driving down yesterday with my wife, so yeah, just a case of going down. But yeah, usually on assessments they tend to, you go in, have a little bit of an interview process, have a little chat so they can suss out what kind of driving work you've done before, what kind of experience you've got, what trailers you've used and stuff like that. And then, you know, they want to get a feel for you, make sure you're committed and you've got your head screwed on nice and tight. So apparently there's going to be a bit of that, and then I think we're going to go out to the lorry, so I expect it'll be a case of going out, do the walk around checks, do your checks, prove you can do your tachograph properly. I did a little video showing how to do that. So I do your tacho, I probably want to plug my tacho in and check it as well, make sure I've got no you know, defects or any flags on there, like. But yeah, then it should be a case of going out to the lorry, doing your walk around checks, probably backing it up onto a trailer, do your walk around checks on that trailer, and then probably go for a little drive, whether it'll be half hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, I don't know, I haven't got a clue. But you know, I'm ready to be in for a good fair few hours today if needs be. Excuse the noise, I've got a lorry right next to me. So yes, we'll have to see how that goes. So fingers crossed it all goes well, and I might get in with Royal Mail then for the winter months. Hopefully I get my other agencies start getting me some shifts down in Wilko, because I enjoy driving down there. Like I've said to you all, the lorries were good, the runs were good. You know, when you get used to doing a job, it's cushy, like, you know, when you're going into a job, you know where you're going, you know what you're doing, you know where you're starting, you can just go into work and get on with it. But now I'm in that mode of where, you know, you've got to get to know new transport staff, new lorries, like, I'm not sure what lorries they got down Royal Mail. I think they're mainly DAFs. I haven't driven a DAF yet, but it's still the same thing as seats, steering wheel, pedals. So, you know, I'll work on that out when I get there. But I'm about to get on the motorway now, so I might actually be able to start making a bit of bloody progress. God, 20 minutes that traffic just cost me. I was hoping I'd be there a quarter of an hour early. It looks like I'm going to be there on the button now, so I have to get a bloody foot down now on the motorway. But yeah, like I said, we'll have to see how it goes, and I'll give you a little update when I get out of there. So if you can all keep your fingers crossed for me, that'd be awesome. So I'd love to get on in here now, because like I say, I haven't worked for a few weeks on time to get back into the driving. You know, Christmas is around the corner. I want to go mad. I want to do loads of Christmas shopping. So yeah, so hopefully this will work out. And in a worst case scenario, I'm with this other agency now, so there should be more jobs for me to apply for anyway. So yeah, if you all keep your fingers crossed to me, hopefully I'll have an update video in a bit saying it all went cushy. We'll all be in the same video. You're going to know quicker than me. I've got to wait a few hours. You should find out by the end of this video, a couple of minutes. So yeah, so that's the little update. God, state of this bloody motorway. I'm on a standing water right here. If you ever drive down the motorway past Rondacon on Taff towards Bridge End and it's raining, just be aware of the standing water. It's bloody awful. Anyway, I'll get back to you. Fingers crossed for me, yeah. We'll see if we can get this new job. Cheers guys, speak to you in a bit. On my way home. Went really well. Yeah, it was really good. So, for any of you who are going down to Royal Mail, give you a heads up about what to expect when you have your assessment. I went on in there, wicked, really nice guys, good as gold. Went on into the room, sat down, did a little bit of a theory test not so much a theory test, multiple choice to see if it kind of switched on. Same sort of stuff you'd expect there to be, driver's hours, rest times, stuff like that. They downloaded my tacho so they could check if I had any infringements. That was a bit of a surprise, because as far as I knew, I've only had one infringement, and it was only like 3 weeks ago. And they called me up and said what had happened is I'd done a run, I'm not sure if I did a video of that day, I'd done a delivery up to Droitwich up in the Midlands, and when I got up there, I knew I was coming up to my 6 hours. I was on like 5 hours 50, so I knew I needed to take my 6 hour run break, my 15-minute break for that. And what had happened was I got up there, got back onto the bay, sat there, had my cup of tea, took my 15 minutes, went to go and unload, but I hadn't bloody clicked my tacho onto break. I clicked it onto other work, so it hadn't clocked as a break. So as soon as I finished unloading, I phoned the yards, told them what I'd done. They were like, yeah, just chuck it on break now so the tachograph's happy. So I did that, it was all cushy, and that was, as far as I knew, that was the only infringement I had, because I put it on break 20 minutes later than I should have, because that said I'd done 6 hours 20. I hadn't, but obviously it was my mistake. Anyway, I was expecting that infringement to come up. He comes in, he's printed off his list of infringements. I was like, what the hell? Most of them were from before I went over to Wilko. Most of them were from, you know, the first sort of 3-4 months, well, first sort of 6 months of me driving the lorries, and that's when I was working with a different company, the one I said used to kind of take the mick a bit. And a lot of that was working time regulations, where, for instance, when I had to take shortened breaks, and which I didn't know how to do the tacho properly. As it goes, they printed it all off, and they were saying in the last sort of 6 months there's only 2 or 3, and he said it's sort of missing chucking it on break by a couple of minutes. You know, there wasn't any major issues there, it was tiny infractions. But that was quite a surprise to see there was infringements. But anyway, so we did that. They were kind of umming and ahhing. I thought, oh great, this assessment's on its ass before it's even started. But no, they were like, no, he said even with all of them, it's still only amber. You know, red, amber and green. Red means, no, you've got too many, we can't have you. Amber means, yeah, you're alright, you got a few, but you're okay. And green means you're spotless. He said no one's spotless. So anyway, so we did that. Lovely jubbly. So I'm thinking, right, I'm going to get a chance. So then I sat down and I did this little theory test. I only got a couple of the questions wrong. I think there was 25 questions. I got 2 of them wrong, multiple choice, so you know you can kind of read those are the answers, automatically showing you, well, oh, that's not the answer, right? But yeah, so I did the multiple choice questions. The 2 I got wrong were one of them where it says when you book your annual leave, if you book 1 day of your holiday, how many hours does that 1 day of holiday count as? I was like, I don't know, so I'm trying to work out what's an average working day. Well, as a lorry, you'll know there is no average working day on the lorries. So I went, oh, I had all the different choices. It was like 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, or 10 hours. I thought, well, 10 hours sounds like a working day. So I circled 10 hours, it turns out it was 8 hours. So I got that one wrong, they weren't worried. They said it's not a major question. And what was the other one? I can't remember what the other one I got wrong was. But it wasn't major stuff, you know. The questions they're asking you is, how long can you drive before you have to take a break? And then how long a break would you have to take? So you can drive for 4.5 hours, then you gotta have your 45-minute break. How would you be able to split your break? You know, the stuff we should know, the stuff you should, you know, you're always going to get that question, because you need to have your breaks. So remember, when you split your breaks, there's 15 minutes and 30, or you can do 45 minutes in one sitting, however you do it. So I had those kind of questions. It's fine, no problem at all. And then after that, then it was a case of going out to the lorry. He had me reverse under the trailer to see how well I did that. He just sat there silent, left me to it. Totally new truck. It was a DAF. Quite nice actually, quite powerful. A bit more basic than the big posh Mercedes I go in, but nothing wrong with that. Plenty of oomph in the engine, comfortable seat. So yeah, so I went in and I did, you know, I went in carefully, took my time. I could have done it quicker, but I didn't. I took my time, showed him I was really paying attention, got out and had a look, and he was really happy with that, because I did stop and have a look and made sure everything was locked down. Went round, did my checks when I hooked up the trailer, the black check, remember, BLACK, went round, did that. Put the number plate on, checked everything, so he's happy to see that. Really checked the tyres carefully, because they give you a lot more time to do your checks in the mornings. So that all went really good, and then we went for a drive from Bridgend to the depot down in Cardiff. So up on Half Road down in Cardiff. So I drove down to that depot, and again I went back onto a bay down there. And then someone else was coming in about to be loaded, so then we had a really good look at how they load their trailers. Because most of the trailers are double deckers, see, and they're slightly different to the ones I was using. So yeah, so we did that, it all went really good. I mean, I made my life difficult at the start, because before we'd even left the yard, he wanted me to reverse onto a bay. And he was saying, right, he says, pull out when you get a trailer on. Make it as easy as you can for yourself if you want. I want to see you reversing bay number 20 on the other side. And I think what he's expecting me to do was pull out, go up to the turning circle at the end, and then do my reverse on my good side, so I got my head out the window. But I thought, well no, real life, I want to show him I can drive. So I did my reverse into a bay on the blind side, and I took a couple of shunts just to be super careful and super sure that I wasn't going to hit nothing, so, you know, so he could see I was being careful. I really took my time, and he said that worked in my favour because I didn't take the easy way out. I showed you don't always get to choose the manoeuvre you want to do. So yeah, so that went really well. The drive down to Cardiff went really good. Lovely people. Everyone I spoke to was absolutely lovely. Great. Easy to talk to. Ready to have a laugh. Getting on with their jobs. Really good. So yeah, it looks really, really good. We got back then. I watched a couple of health and safety videos. Put it back on a bay, obviously, when I got back. Went through the paperwork, how you fill in your daily checks and your logbooks and stuff. How you sign in your key, how, you know, make sure I could do my taco. He said that was a very important thing. Remember I did my earlier video about doing your tachograph manual entries. He's saying part of the assessment is if you don't know how to do the manual entries, it's finished, game over, they won't have you. You have to be able to do it, because that's when people pick up infringements. So if you're a bit unsure of that, I've got a video, click on it, it's only about 2 minutes long. It's literally a case of you go back to the day you signed out, do it to the morning, click in what time you started, what you've been doing until you go on the lorry, and then make sure you do that. And then that way none of the times get blurry or mixed up. So if you need to have a look at that, have a look at that. No one showed me before, but that would have been end of assessment if I didn't know that. So yeah, so really good news, it's all gone really good. So what I've got to do now, he's in touch with the agency I've just signed up for, a new agency. So he's going to get in touch with them. They're going to send over IVs for me. The agency I'm with never give me nothing. They can get phone calls off me these days. So yes, they're sending over a brand new IVs over there in my size. They're going to send over security badge and identification and all that. And then it's a case of the agency getting in touch with me letting them know when I'm available. Obviously now early doors, I'll make myself available, really, really widely available. So I get a couple of shifts, and once you've done a few shifts and they're happy with the way you work, to make sure you're not doing cutting corners, you know, you can start picking and choosing what you want then. I was just saying to my wife now, just saying to Liz that maybe I might have to do a couple of later shifts than I normally would, just to get the shifts in at the moment, because obviously they've got a lot of full-time drivers. I'm only going in as agency, so it's not going to be year-round work for me unless I'm very lucky. So yeah, no, so there we go, good news. I say it's always a little bit nervy when you're doing a new assessment, because you know you're being watched and you know you're being judged when you're driving. But same as I always say, take your time, keep that speed below the speed limit. And I say, yeah, the drive is only about, well, Bridgend down to Cardiff, only took us about half an hour to get down there. It's a bit of traffic, so we took the old A48 instead, which was a nice drive actually. Chatting with him all the way really made me feel at ease and stuff, and yeah, it all went really well. So there we go, all in is about 4 hours, 4.5. Well, my assessment started at 9 o'clock, I got there 5:02. Walking into the assessment, you don't want to be late, you want to be, you know, you want to be there on time. It's not going to look good if you're trying to get a job if you turn up for your bloody interview late. If you're late for your interview, they're going to expect you to be late for your day's work, innit? So yeah, no, all went really, really good. So yeah, so maybe the next video I do might be pointing out the front of the Royal Mail van. knows? Who knows? But yeah, thanks for keeping your fingers crossed for me. Looks really good. So hopefully I'll get some more shifts, and hopefully I'll still get shifts down with Wilko as well, because I love working down with those guys. They were good as gold down there. It's the agency that are being a bit of a pain in the ass at the moment, which is frustrating, because obviously the agency are the ones I've got to work through. You know, I can't just phone up the head office and say, can you get me some bloody shifts, like? So yeah, so it's all really good. So as much as it's been quiet for a few weeks, I may be back on the road again soon. Well, the Christmas decorations popping up in everyone's gardens now. So yeah, so I'm using this car today, MOT on Friday, so I'm giving this a nice little drive. My wife's car, lovely little car. Sorry it's a bit rattly, it's a little MG ZR, lovely little car. Great fun to drive, reminds me of my old cars, really zippy and nippy. The suspension's a bit I'm getting old now, I like a bit of luxury on my suspension. But no. So there we go. Really good result. So yeah, hopefully we'll knock out a few more videos soon. Like I was up in Yorkshire last week, so didn't have any work last week. I got some great videos, but that's just me knocking around the moors in my car. I don't think anyone's going to be interested in that. It's more of a family video for us. But yeah, we'll see how she goes, and then hopefully I'll have another video for you soon and a few shifts. Who knows what lorry I'm in, who knows where I'll be, but I'll keep you all informed and I'll keep you all along with me. So, thanks for your time, thanks for keeping your fingers crossed, and hopefully you'll see it soon out the front of a lorry. Take care all, be safe, ta-ra.